Well, good evening, everybody. Now that I don't have to sit and research and read, I have some free time to work on some other stories. So I got a response from the CRTC. It said, "Do not respond. Dear Canada Poly, although the CRTC regulates and supervises the Canadian broadcast system under the Broadcasting Act, the broadcasters themselves are responsible for the choice, content, and scheduling of the programming they provide. The Act does not give the CRTC the right to edit or censor programming. However, during an election period, radio and television licensees must allocate time for broadcasting of programs, advertisements, or announcements of a partisan political character or on an equitable basis to all accredited political parties and rival candidates represented in the election. It should be noted that equitable does not mean equal, but generally that all candidates and parties are entitled to some coverage that will give them the opportunity to expose their idea to the public. For more information, they give a link. In light of your concerns, we are sending a copy of your message to Bell Media and asking the licensee to respond directly to you within 20 calendar days and to provide a copy of their reply to us for review. Should the review by commission staff conclude that further regulatory action is required, we will notify you. Please note that at the end of 21 calendar days, your complaint and all related correspondence will be placed on Bell Media's public file. This information is used to access the performance of the broadcasters at the time of the license renewal, and interested parties may consult the file at any time. In accordance with your rights under the Privacy Act, you may refuse to have your correspondence placed in such a file. If that's the case, please contact us within 21 days, blah, blah, blah. So, this is, not only did the judge throw it out while he had jurisdiction, the CRTC is basically saying, yeah, sorry about that. Nothing we can do. Hands are tied. What democracy? What democracy? I thought this was interesting. Here's a tweet. It says, Italy fights back. It says if there are people, sorry, I'm going to pause this. If there are people who have money, houses, or land in their home countries, why should we give them services for free while Italians pay for everything? Enough. The gravy train is finished. This is not racism. It is justice. 7 good cents. PM Matteo Savini. I don't know what justice 7 good cents means. Maybe it's an Italian turn of phrase or something. But this is worthwhile and interesting. Italy and the EU are at odds right now about the budget that was just tabled by Italy. So, I mean, that's interesting. Going to be interesting to watch. So, here's a CBC report on October 19th. So that was today. She's way out of her league. Steel exec slams Freeland handling of tariff fights. So, despite the news wanting you to think that Canada came out of the USMAC or MCA, USMCA to with a win, and the win was your economy didn't get destroyed. Yay! People are still trading with you, and your dollar is not in the toilet. That is the win that you guys came away with, because the steel tariffs that Trump implemented, because Canada was dumping Chinese steel into the United States, pretending that it was Canadian steel, hence the national security tag that he threw on it. And that's what a whole bunch of other people have been doing. If you haven't watched the Thanksgiving Day hodgepodge stuff, I talk in depth about China and Vice President Pence's speech about China, calling out China specifically for bad practices, let's say. And I actually mean bad practices. I don't mean raping and murdering an 8-year-old. Right, Mr. Goodall? Unbelievable. Anyway, so a good deal would have included in the USMAC or MCA, the steel tariffs would have maybe been repealed, or like an actual negotiation rather than what happened on the NAFTA file. What happened on the NAFTA file was a national disgrace, up and down, and it's incredible. It's incredible that newspapers aren't calling out this failure of an administration on every level. It's unbelievable. I'm surprised they printed this, to be honest with you, because Freeland was out of her league and she knows it. But the print is trying to spin it in a different way. Anyway, Scheer won't commit to keeping cannabis legal if Tories form government. And okay, so on one side of things, the laws that have been passed by the Liberal government around marijuana are incredibly poorly thought out. They won't stand up to charter. Basically, they've legalized cannabis but made driving completely illegal if you smoke cannabis at all. And I do a video on that as well. It says, the title is Legal Marijuana Driving and You Know the Laws, or something to that effect. But it's the laws are once you look at them, contradictory and silly, and they'll get thrown out. You can't prove them. You can't prove impairment. And marijuana doesn't impair the same way alcohol does. So, I mean, and I don't want to open up the marijuana discussion. I know some people have very strong opinions on it. I have a strong opinion on it as well, and that's fine. But my point is, it is legal right now, and there's not a whole lot we can do about it. So we have to kind of deal with it. And the laws that have been passed are bad laws. So that's kind of the crux of my concern. And I mean, when you've geared up 3 years for legalization because they dragged their feet on it, and you've got businesses invested heavily in this, I don't know how you unring that bell. I don't know how Scheer is going to have any support with another conservative party. And granted, I don't know what Max's position on marijuana is at this point in time. I don't know. But if you've got a conservative party that is committed to recriminalizing marijuana, or at this point, he's just not saying one way or the other, which, I mean, maybe the focus group hasn't come back yet with if it's popular or not. Maybe the first day sales were a miss. Who knows, right? Who knows how they make decisions in the Conservative Party of Canada these days. Michelle Rempel knows, I guess. So, but that's interesting. I think it's interesting that something that has been so popular and is slated to make a lot of money, regardless of your feelings on it, is even on the table for being repealed. I don't think you can unring this bell at this point. That's my opinion. I thought this was interesting. I saw this morning, and this is from 2017, and I thought, wow, like I didn't hear anything about this. Census shows Arabic second biggest language in Windsor. And I almost want to go find the clip of Trudeau saying Windsor. Okay, I did. I went and got it because I could not do it.
An important moment for the people of Windsor, and indeed for the people of Canada.
The people of Windsor.
I love Windsor. Windsor is my favorite. And it explains why he was there. That makes sense. And one People's Party of Canada plank that I thought would be fun to leave the night off with is the People's Party supporting Twitter campaign is tweeting this out, and I'm just underlying people's journalism. We're involved. Canada sees what's going on, and we don't like what the CBC and CTV and all the conglomerate media is doing, but that's not what this tweet is about. I'm just saying citizen journalists are standing up. So good on these guys for doing this kind of stuff, and thank you, Max, for putting your neck out there. Here's the tweet. If your business can't compete and doesn't make money, it should not be up to the taxpayer to cover your losses. No more crony capitalism, no more kickbacks, no more waste. Vote PPC in 2019 to help put Canada back on track. Bernie Nation, PPC 2019. And here's Max's quote, and it's a nice meme format just for your Facebook sharing if you do that still. Quote, government cannot pick winners and losers. Only the free market can. Giving bailouts to bankrupt businesses is not only a waste of taxpayer dollars, it serves to distort the market and reward failure. Maxime Bernier. Thank you, Mr. Bernier. Check out the People's Party of Canada.ca. Check out faithfortoronto.ca. She's being censored. And our regulatory boards and our courts don't care. So I know we care, and I know it's Friday night, but hey, Canada's at stake. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And stay safe out there this weekend. The world's a dangerous place. Thanks for watching.